Tonight, Whyala's Man of Steel surveys his new purchase. So what's next for the steelworks? And concerns about the road through our region dubbed a fatigue zone.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening. Whyala Steelworks saviour Sanjeev Gupta has made his first visit to the plant since he bought it around a fortnight ago. He met with workers and management, saying they've all got a lot of work to do to make the operation world class.
Like a new homeowner, Sanjeev Gupta was beaming this morning as he inspected his newly acquired steelworks. And everywhere he went, he was being thanked for saving Arium. But he's all about business, saying the plant needs significant work to make it viable, with changes to be rolled out.
We need to work together and make changes, because this is not currently a sustainable world-class plant. It needs to become one.
As for investment, Mr Gupta is promising big changes, saying the steelworks has the potential to produce more steel. And with that expansion comes the potential for job creation.
Investing in them and expanding them, and then beyond that, the sky is the limit. You could see this as being a 5-10 million ton plant.
Power is another big issue, with the steelworks nearly brought to its knees in last September's blackout. While he says it's critical there's a secure baseload power, he says the plant and the mines themselves can meet their own needs.
I know South Australia has issues, but this plant has a cogeneration plant already that can be invested in. I think it can have more than enough power.
And he's looking for a similar deal to Port Pirie from both the Commonwealth and state governments.
Our needs and our wants are more to support the CapEx program we will undertake in terms of guarantees to support our own spend here.
Whyala's mayor says the town is relieved that after 15 long months, their future is now secure.
And the more that we're hearing about Mr Gupta, we're hearing about Liberty, the better we're feeling.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
And beginning tomorrow night, Southern Cross News will screen a two-part interview with Mr Gupta, one-on-one. Our reporter John Hunt sat down with the new boss to discuss his plans for the 50-year-old steelworks. Here's a sneak preview of what to expect.
We kept trying, persuading all stakeholders that we had a compelling case. Our case was more compelling. We had a greater desire, a greater passion and a better plan to execute, and that we would be better stewards of this business. And eventually, when the opportunity or the opening opened again, I think we were welcomed back in because of that.
To other news now, and police have identified the section of the Augusta Highway between Port Pirie and Lochiel as a fatigue zone. And with school holidays upon us, drivers are being reminded to remain patient and not take any risks when behind the wheel.
With more traffic travelling along the Augusta Highway during the school holidays, drivers are reminded of the importance of taking a break to reduce fatigue.
We recommend that when you're travelling long distances, you should plan to have a break at least every 2 hours. And when you have a break, it means stop, get out of the vehicle, stretch, move around.
The Augusta Highway is the main connector to the north of the state, and with its relatively straight stretch of road from Port Pirie to Lochiel, drivers tend to become drowsy and inattentive.
On the Augusta Highway, we've identified a stretch of road from approximately Lochiel to Port Pirie, where we have a high number of serious injury or fatal crashes that we believe are due to fatigue.
With the holidays upon us, there's more cars, boats and caravans on the highway travelling at slower speeds. Motorists are reminded to stay patient and use the overtaking lanes correctly when travelling in the fatigue zone.
Nothing wrong with the road, it's just its proximity to either people leaving or starting their journeys.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Parts of Port Lincoln have again been left without power, with 4,000 households and businesses experiencing outages this afternoon. Locals were left in the dark around 1 p.m. when major disruptions to the network were felt right across the town. SA Power Networks immediately began investigating the cause and believed the outages were due to a faulty line out of the Port substation. A TV aerial brought down by strong winds collapsed on a power cable. A crane had to be called in to lift it off before work could commence to restore the service. Television services for some parts were also disrupted. Residents in the area have been left outraged with what's become a familiar disruption.
Some of the issues that we're experiencing is loss of communications, therefore obviously not able to use the internet. Phone systems are down for us. I guess for people in other business areas, there's concerns about how long power will be out and a little bit of panic about items that are perishable. So just the sort of things we experienced last year in the big blackout we had here in Port Lincoln.
A P-plate driver was arrested for drink driving 3 times over the legal limit in Port Lincoln this morning. The 30-year-old woman was stopped by patrols and issued with a breath test, returning a blood alcohol reading of 0.153. She was issued with an instant 12-month loss of licence and has had her car impounded. She'll face court at a later date. Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news. Lights, camera, action. A new look at the future of film in the Silver City. The details ahead. Welcome back. A Broken Hill woman has been charged with drink driving after returning a blood alcohol reading 3 times the legal limit. The 47-year-old was pulled over for a random breath test on Blen Street around 1 o'clock on Saturday morning. She blew 0.174 and was charged for drink driving in the High Range. The woman will now appear in court. Well, 100 years after the first train departed for Kalgoorlie, Port Augusta will celebrate the centenary of the Trans-Australian Railway. The October event has already received national attention, with Australia Post releasing a Trans-Australia stamp as part of the commemorations.
In just a few months, Port Augusta will celebrate the centenary of the Trans-Australian Railways, and it's getting national attention in the form of a stamp. Australia Post says they're designed from old posters.
We're incredibly excited to celebrate such a momentous occasion. So what we have is we've actually taken posters from 1930 and 1960 and we reimagined them onto some stamps.
The Trans-Australian Railway centenary has been considered one of Australia's biggest upcoming events.
What we do is we consider a lot of different events over the course of 12 months. So we have a team of people that sit down and plan what are the big milestones for the next 12 to 18 months. And this railway line was one of the biggest events that we'd actually had coming up.
These stamps might look small, but they're showcasing a Port Augusta celebration right around the country. Australia Post says these stamps are selling extremely well and that collectors should get in quick.
So if you don't see something in your local post office, because we do know it's selling really well, we do ask people to either hop online or to call our mail order service.
Port Augusta's centenary celebrations is set to take place in late October. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
A mobile breast cancer screening unit is now parked in Port Pirie, and women are being encouraged to make an appointment to have a mammogram to help catch breast cancer early.
The mobile screening unit only comes to Port Pirie once every 2 years and will be here at GP Plus until August.
The mobile screening unit is available for women between 50 and 74. However, if you do have a family history of breast cancer, you can have free mammogram screening from 40 years of age.
3 screening units travel around regional South Australia, so women don't have to travel far to get a mammogram. And women are encouraged to come and use this free service.
It's important to get yourself checked. You can't see what's under your skin, and we're not a scary bunch. Come on down, have some fun with us. We come to you.
And there's the reminder, you don't have to suffer through the disease alone.
Every case of breast cancer is different, everybody's journey is individual, and there's lots of support to help people through that journey, so I'm certainly here to help in any way that I can.
There are numerous help and support services available here in Port Pirie, with more information at the GP Plus building on Gertrude Street. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill's filmmakers, producers and actors got together over the weekend for an important film forum. They discussed what the future holds for local filmmakers in the region and the support they can receive to bring their ideas to life.
Lights, camera, action.
We're actually bringing together the practitioners and people interested in the film industry here in Broken Hill to bring them together to see how we can maybe create more production in the region, attract more production in the region, create more opportunities.
Experts from Screenworks, an outlet that supports local film industries, and also Create New South Wales shared their knowledge with the city's filmmakers, actors and actresses. The aim, to develop a plan to bring more film productions to the region and enhance Broken Hill's film industry.
By working with them and working with people like Ken, we are able to, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. we can focus on actually making some stuff and leverage the support that's available, and it works better for everyone.
The forum gave insight to initiatives available to help filmmakers get their projects off the ground. Broken Hill already has a rich film history, whether it be a major picture like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, to short films shot in the city's film studio.
You just have to look at the past, and there are so many filmmakers, screen practitioners, so many actors out here in Broken Hill have so much potential, so much talent, and we're also keen to really get together and make things happen out here.
And while there are challenges that face filmmakers in the outback, the future is looking good.
But what we do have is, a location that has featured in, heaps more films, short and long, than any other regional town in Australia. And, that we have those locations here on our doorstep, and we have excited people who want to go out and make stuff, and the future's really bright.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. When we return after the break, we'll whip around the grounds and see how your team did in the weekend's local footy action. The details ahead. Welcome back. Whyala's Royal Flying Doctors Service Support Group has been going for 10 years, raising nearly $300,000 in the process. But their future is under threat as a dramatic decline in volunteer numbers could force them to scale back their support.
A chance encounter with an RFDS plane inspired Whyala's John Taylor to support the service.
Coming down from Alice Springs, they had to block the road with the coach I was driving because they had a plane coming in for an accident. So that's, if I can help that way, I can help in other ways.
10 years ago, John, Renee Gillies and others helped form the local support group, raising $300,000 for the Flying Doctor. They run barbecues and functions up to 3 times a week. However, their membership has halved in the last 12 months, and with the group getting older, they're in desperate need of new blood.
3/4 of us are retired, but we too have a life, so it's not possible to do all of the functions.
The group is looking for just a couple of hours a week to cook and serve at their trailer and help sell raffle tickets. If things don't change, they've warned their operations may be grounded, which will have a big impact on its service.
If we had 10,000 less and someone else had 10,000 less, well, it just makes it hard for them to juggle the money.
It's the only one of its kind in the world, so you can't beat it. Being an Aussie, you've got to support it.
The RFDS makes 500 trips a year to Whyala, around 2 a day. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Our Port Augusta building, designed to fight the pesky fruit fly, has won a South Australian Architecture Award. The Sterile Insect Technology facility won the Colorbond Award for Steel Architecture.
Steel-clad and built to house millions of flies, there's more to the Sterile Insect Technology building than meets the eye. It's won an SA Colorbond Award for Steel Architecture, and architect Michael Pilkington says it was designed for the Port Augusta climate.
It's a very harsh climate. It's on the edge of the desert, it's got a big summer heat load, all those things mix in, and we wanted a durable, robust building up there.
Steel mesh covering the main building has a cooling effect.
It was a starting point to say, could we not enclose that, make it a meshed enclosure, which lowers our heat load into the actual technical plant area, means it's shaded, all that kind of thing. The breeze still goes through, but it's not out in the baking sun, in summer particularly.
Here, X-ray technology is used to sterilise male flies before releasing them into the wild to reduce fruit fly populations. And the facility manager says they need special climate conditions.
We've got Queensland fruit fly, so we have to have about 26 to 28 degrees Celsius and very high humidities. And so it's completely different to our outside weather in Port Augusta.
The technical manager says he's not surprised the building has won a design award.
Having this technology working very efficiently overseas, and no doubt that Australian government put a lot of effort to put this facility here.
After winning in the state, the building will be entered into the National Architecture Awards. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
To the weekend's footy news now, and there were 2 one-sided victories in Broken Hill football, with both South and North getting the job done against Central and West, respectively. Patrick Roinke joins us now from Broken Hill's Memorial Oval, where South had no problem dispatching a pretty flat Central. Pat, how did it unfold?
Well, Tim, the Premiership favourites started like an absolute house on fire, booting 12 goals across a dominant first half on Central's home turf. The hosts struggled to get the ball going forward, while South had next to no problem finding the big sticks. Cody Shawn was exceptional for the Roos, snagging 6 sausage rolls through the afternoon. Central fought back and showed some heart in the second half, holding South to only 3 goals for the 2 quarters, while scoring a couple of their own. Jason Maslett, Jalen Wingfield and Jake NASCAR Crozier were all top performers for the Pies, while Jordan Johns and Jake Jepp starred for the Roos. In the end, though, Central's deplorable first half made for grim reading on the scoreboard, South cruising to a 75-point victory. It was the same story over at the Jube. A bag of 9 goals to Ethan Slater led North to a routine win over a lacklustre Robin side. To the other leagues now, and in the Spencer Gulf, South got over Prop Risdon, while Port got the job done over a wasteful Central Augusta. The Sunday game was a one-sided affair, Solomon Town dispatching West with ease. A special mention to Solomon Town's under-18s coach, who let one of his players play for West after the side only had 16 at the time. Great to see sportsmanship like that in our great game. Heading into Port Lincoln and way back smashed Boston by 126, Mallee Park continued their undefeated season defeating Tasman, and it was Marble Range just sneaking past Lincoln South. In the Steel City, it was wins to North, Central and West. In the York Peninsula, Kadina dismantled Baskerville, and the Crows, Moonta and Wallaroo all had good afternoons. So, Tim, plenty of exciting and high-scoring games across all the leagues, with finals just on the horizon. And I'll be back tomorrow night to wrap up all the other sports from around the regions.
Good stuff, thank you, Pat. Well, stay with us. After the break, I'll look at the local weather for the week ahead. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now. Wet and windy start to the week with 19 in Port Augusta and 18 in Whyalla. Port Lincoln 16 today, 17 for Port Pirie and a sunny 19 in Broken Hill. On the national satellite image, a high way out west is set to push off much of that cloud cover over the next couple of days. Out on the waters, the winds to 20 knots to the west, the seas to 3 metres and southerly. Sunrise is at 22 minutes past 7. So a wet day tomorrow with showers and 17 for Port Augusta, 16 in Whyalla and Port Lincoln. Port Pirie on 15 degrees and a windy 16 over in Broken Hill. The showers then set to clear off, an overcast 17 for the rest of the week in Port Lincoln, with the sun out on Thursday. Fine for the rest of the week, 16 and 17 in Cleve, Woodness 17, then 19. Whyalla fine and 16, then sunny and 18 for Wednesday and Thursday. Port Augusta 17, then 19. Kadina on 16 both days. Port Pirie with showers and 15 for Wednesday, then a fine 18 degrees for Thursday. Cool and mild in Clare with 14 both days. And Broken Hill fine and 15 for Wednesday, and on Thursday as well, the fine conditions set to hang around for much of the week. And that is the local news for this Monday evening. Hope you had a great weekend. Don't forget, as always, you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. I'm Tim Hadfield from the team here at Southern Cross News. Have a great evening. Good night.